To start the meeting, Paul, I'd like to make a motion to waive the 10-day notification of abutters because of the unusual circumstances of the election day and us, our sanitarian being out for this particular variance hearing for 3 Richards Drive.
Right, I was just going to say that we need to specifically align it with the particular hearing. So you just did that, and that's fine. Do I hear anything contrary or in favor of doing that?
I'll second that motion, Paul. We brought it up at last meeting. We knew it was coming. So let's
Right.
go.
Yeah. I think it's appropriate, all circumstances considered, and the fact that this particular property has a failed septic system also adds to the importance of moving forward.
Would you like to take a roll call on that one?
Sure, we'll do a roll call, and I'll start. I'm saying I'm in favor. Bobby,
Favor, aye.
Sue.
And I as well.
Okay, so it's unanimous.
Okay, and we're supposed to start. We actually have 10 minutes because I had told Evan who's going to start at 7:15.
Yeah, he's there in the new. He's out there in the new porch.
Mhm. Evan, can you, while we're getting ready to discuss, could you bring up your drawings?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Share. All right.
There you go. Terrific.
So, so we did the best we could with the Telegram posting. We went on Tuesday and we were able to post for today. So it was posted today for 7 p.m. for
Okay, good. All right.
yeah. So we tried to do
Right.
as much compliance as we could here. But
So talk to us about what this situation actually is. Is the old system being removed, the new one being put in, new location? What's going on?
Very similar location. So this is a 3-bedroom system that has failed. Being the owners are intending on moving, and um, the system now is in this side yard. It's really the only place it can go, given where the well is located. The well is up on the other side of the house.
Yeah.
So this box labeled 7 here. It's an out. Oh, sorry, no. This box labeled 1
Okay.
actually right here. That is the existing system, and so that is a leach field that is proposed to be left in place. So we tested off to the side of it with the intention of replacing in an area with natural soil, so that we don't have to remove the existing system.
Okay.
Um, So it is it's a Presby system, and we still have to pump it, unfortunately. But with the high groundwater and how high it is, even with the Presby and the reduction, it still requires a pump chamber. But what it'll at least do is return the yard to looking decent and not too mounded. It will
Right.
also help with the trees. We'll have to remove 1 tree here with this configuration. If we had more fill that was needed for breakout grading, we would start looking at some additional tree work for
Is
the
this
trees that are
a
in
is
front of
this
the
a
house.
3-bedroom system?
It's a 3-bedroom system, yes.
Okay.
Now, Evan, do we usually destroy the old system, or if we're putting a brand new bed in and then situated separate, we don't touch it, correct? Is that
If
that,
it's a
that
Yeah, if it's a bed or if it's trenches, we typically just leave it in place if we don't have to touch it. If it's
Right.
pits or a cesspool, if it's an open pit in the ground, we'll have to properly decommission it to make sure it doesn't become a safety hazard in the future.
So is this,
No.
this Presby, is that requiring a new tank and D-box and all that, or is that working off of the existing?
Yeah, everything's new. Yep.
Everything's
So
new, okay.
yeah, so
Right.
it's a 1,500 gallon dual compartment septic tank that goes into 1,000 gallon pump chamber, and
Yep.
then goes to a new Presby system with a distribution box and
Yep.
yep.
So
But
the old tank will be getting destroyed.
oh yes, so
Yeah.
the old tank is in a very similar we're actually bringing the tank a little bit closer to the dwelling. The tank now is just past the proposed tank, so it's in the area of where all of the excavation's happening. So that'll have to be removed.
Okay, all right.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Terrific.
Now you
Yeah.
are requesting 3 variances, correct?
So there's 4 from the local regulation. I guess technically it could be 5 with the 10-day notification.
Okay.
Yeah. And so
I think,
I can go.
for the record, we need to record what those are, please.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. So to go down the list, there is section 4D, and the request is approval of 1 total percolation test. Our test holes that we conducted were they were very comparable. So with the replacement, we're requesting the 1 total percolation test.
Okay,
The next is section 3N, and that's approval of the variance from the reserve area for the replacement system. And then let's see, the next is section 4F, approval of reduction from a 25-foot property lines setback to 20-foot property line setback. Again, the rationale behind that is we are right around 20 feet right now from the leach bed of the edge of the leach bed to the cellar wall. So we're already pushing that setback there. And then if we were to reconfigure here, we would end up with some more tree work. So we were really just trying to minimize the amount of work needed on site. So that's the rationale behind that request.
Uh-huh.
And then finally, approval of the reduction using the Presby, a 2-foot reduction, and that's goes hand in hand with the IA approval as well, which I was also included in the letter. So those are one and the same. One of them is addressed in the local regulations. The other one is addressed via approval letter.
Okay. Now you're spoken to Billy on this, Evan, and he's pretty good with it, huh?
So the only time I spoke with Bill on this is when we were on site doing the
Yeah.
testing.
Yeah.
And I haven't spoken to him since, but I did hear from Jim earlier
Yeah.
this week.
Okay.
So I think correct me if I'm wrong, Jim, if you're here. I think were you able to review the plan, take a look at it?
I did, and with the acceptance of the variances, it's in compliance.
Okay, Jim.
and I'd point out that the variances that are being requested are nothing new under the sun in terms of previous issues we've dealt with and many other situations with repair systems. They're kind of standard variances, so there's nothing unusual there.
And it's an upgrade, no matter what. Yep.
It's a new system, yeah.
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 Taking the old one out of the groundwater table. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I have
Anybody have any questions? Is there anybody on the outside looking in that we haven't acknowledged that we need to? Anybody that's raising their hand or anything, Sue or Donna?
I don't see any hands raised.
Okay.
then if nobody else has any questions, I'd like to make a motion.
Go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the requested variances we just went through.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we'll do a roll call. Sue,
Aye.
Bobby,
Aye.
Paul, aye. Variances are granted and we can, parties to be can move ahead with upgrading this system, putting in a new system and upgrading the property.
Now,
And
what,
keeping Bill happy too in the end.
let me ask before anybody scoots away here. What is our next step, since Bill always just waved his magic wand and made it all happen?
I was just gonna ask that too.
Paul will usually sign the permit, but as long as
But Bill usually fills out the appropriate paperwork and then I usually sign it. So Sue's question is really directed at where is the paperwork that Bill fills out going to come from? How are we dealing with that?
So I can put together the permit for you.
Okay,
Do you want me to sign it, or do you want me to get it over to the town hall so you can sign it?
yeah,
for the sake of expediency, I would say you can go ahead and sign it.
Okay,
We've certainly had Bill do that in the past, so there's nothing unusual there, Jim. If you would do that, that would be helpful.
good. I will take care of that.
Because I know the
Obviously,
homeowner,
obviously, we just need to get a copy into our office as well, that's all.
Yep, no, so once it's signed and the owner comes in and signs it, we can get a permit and the copy of the approved plan over to your office as well.
Sounds good.
all righty.
you good with that,
All right.
Evan?
That sounds great.
So you'll get me a couple of signed copies of those plans, Evan?
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Great. Well, thank you very much. Thank you all for your time. Appreciate you taking the time tonight.
All right, Evan. Good
Have
luck.
a,
Thank
have a
you.
great night.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Frederick from 3 Richard Drive. I don't know if you guys can hear me.
Yes, we can, Fred.
Great.
Frederick.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you as well. I really appreciate all the work and emergency meeting you guys have put together. I believe I just heard Jim say that I have to sign something. Is that something I can maybe come by tomorrow and sign just for sake of expedience, or did I misunderstand that?
Let me type up the permit. Evan, you were going to get me plans. I don't know, did you send the copies in yet, or?
We'll drop them off tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll type up a permit, get it signed. I'm in the office in Air tomorrow, so I don't know if that's a problem for you to get over to Air to sign that.
I can make it happen. That's fine.
Okay.
Just let me know what time works best and I can make it work.
Probably anytime after 10.
After 10? All right. Wonderful.
We're
I
open till
will-
4:30.
Okay,
Aren't
perfect.
you going to Stowe tomorrow though? At 10?
Nope, somebody else will go to Stowe.
Oh, okay. Colby is it? Sorry. Okay.
Yep.
Do you guys have each other's phone numbers just in case there's any hiccups?
Let me
I
see.
do not, but
Let me check and see if I have your number in the folder. Yeah, I shouldn't. So Fred, I have a number here that Evan put on the application, as long as that's correct.
it's ending 4618.
It does.
All right. Yep, that's correct.
Okay.
And then is the AIR office? Sorry, is the AIR office on the website?
It's 30 Central Ave in Air.
30 Central. Okay, perfect. All right, perfect. Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow then.
Very good.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you
Thank you,
thank you.
Jim.
Yeah,
Thank
no
you so
problem.
much.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Thanks.
The wheels on the bus go round and round.
You know, there's a lot of moving parts to these things,
Yes, there are.
as I found out.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Now, in trying to find out about Evan's hearing, I found out that there was more open building permits waiting for the Board of Health approval, which we had no clue about. So I sent you guys I believe I sent a list
Yeah.
of what was open. Could we kind of review them, Jim?
Sure.
With you?
Sure. So I've looked at all of those permits.
Okay.
And I can tell you what I've done. Let me just get back to that section because otherwise I won't know what I've done. Let's see. That's what I want there. So most of them I have left comments on. The ones I can't actually endorse. So I've left comments. I have spoken to folks. I've spoken to the builder at 162 Randall Road. I went over to the town hall today, grabbed the septic system plans. The builder sent me a copy of the plan for the upstairs and the full house plan, so I have all that information. So some of those permits are just waiting for folks to send additional information. And again, so you go through the portal, you leave comments, and then you interact with the folks behind the portal. So I'll continue to do that to get those things taken care of. One of them is food service plan, so they'll need to get plans to Bridget so we can get a food service permit done. And then I think the rest of them are building permits that we're waiting for either ejector pump specifications or we have some questions on the number of rooms or the number of bedrooms. So they've all been addressed, Sue. And now I'm just waiting to hear comments back. So the 162 is what I guess I wanted to talk to you folks about tonight. I'm not familiar with how you all handle deed restrictions in town. Every board I work for handles it just a little differently, so I figured I would bring that up to you. 162, the paperwork that I got from both the builder, both the existing plans and the additional plans indicate there's likely 10 rooms going to be in the house if the proposed addition was done. And the septic system was designed for 3 bedrooms. And so a 10-room house divided by 2, rounding down, that's how Title V has us figure out what a septic system should be, would put the house at 5 bedrooms. The code, Title V, allows boards to accept a deed restriction in this situation to restrict the house to the number of bedrooms that the septic system is designed for. And the additional rooms that are proposed aren't bedrooms. One's a playroom. I don't know. Can I share screen? I can actually show you I think. Okay.
Sure.
I'm not really very good at this, so let me see.
That's okay. They've had to deal with me for the past few years, so.
All right.
Where is this 162, Susan, with you?
It's directly across the street or kind of kitty corner.
The new house. Okay. All right.
Oh.
Yeah. No.
It's not a new house.
Can you see that?
No,
Who's it,
yeah.
Clark?
It should show you the open gov screen.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
open gov, yep.
Okay, so let me
All right, and that says 162 Randall.
yeah,
Oh,
so let me so here is so this is the proposed plan. Let me see if that's about as big as I can make it. Can you see that?
Kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my understanding is it's going to kind of go in the back of the house, and one end will be a TV room. Then you seem to have a walk-through, and then there's a bathroom here, and there's this walk-through office. But it's got, if you see, there's like probably a third of the room is going to be, according to this, a wood stove. So I'm not really considering that a room for the purposes of room count. It's more a walkway through. I assume you could probably put a desk there, but given how much is taken up by that wood stove, I'm not sure that's a reasonable thing to consider a room. And then on the other end, you have a playroom. So those are the 2 rooms I was talking about adding. And I guess this is the way it connects to the rest of the house.
Okay.
And
No,
I can show you, I can show you the house plans if you're interested too, I think.
No. Yeah. No.
Okay.
I guess my only other question is it'll probably be over 50,000. Do we know if that tank is a 1,500-gallon tank up?
It's a 1,000-gallon tank.
Yeah, that's right. I would imagine, based on the age of the permit, it's only a 1,000-gallon tank.
It
So
was
that'll,
installed about 1986.
That's the date it
Okay.
seems like the permit. Yep.
yeah. So is that one we're gonna run into, Paul, with the,
No, that tank should be upgraded based on our the protocols we've been following when there are substantial improvements to the dwelling, that any undersized tanks be brought up to Title V requirements, which would mean this 1,000 gallon tank needs to be made to replaced with a 1,500 gallon.
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
I think that's the only thing I see. It, it looks, well, it looks like it's probably gonna be, 50,000 or more. It's beautiful.
Now, I had a very interesting conversation with Judy Clark today.
Oh, yeah,
And she told me her contractor told her as long as she built under 1,000 square feet, it would not trigger any review of the septic.
Yeah, that's not true.
I've never heard of that.
I
No.
haven't either, but I don't know if these contractors are making up their own rules.
That
Right.
sounds like it.
it's 50,000 with us, for us to even trigger that, usually.
In the past, we've always used a dollar value, not a square footage or anything else.
Right, or
Because if
bedrooms.
somebody's making that kind of investment in their house, it's just common sense that they should be upgrading their septic system to some degree. It's protecting their own property,
Right, right.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's a
No one
cost.
wants to hear it, but that's the reality.
Well,
Right.
bedrooms used to trigger it too if we had bedrooms, and
Right.
otherwise, bathrooms you could add, but bedrooms for some reason, and so much money not triggers it.
So again, it's I guess two things. One, I wasn't as familiar with that, although now when you said that, Bill did mention to me that $50,000 kind of policy that you have about upgrading the tanks. But I think the issue I have, and I guess I would need feedback from you all, is the deed restriction. Is the board comfortable with the following conditions for allowing that to go through? A, that they upgrade the septic tank to a 1,500 gallon tank, and B, that they record a deed restriction limiting the house to 3 bedrooms.
Yes.
Yes. But I don't know how Bill did the deed restrictions.
So I talked to the Clark's contractor tonight, and I told him I could send the deed restriction template to him. It's a matter of filling it out, and it's a DEP form that has some fill in the blanks. So the first page is you fill in the property information from your deed. About halfway down that document, it has a place for you to record the number of bedrooms the house is restricted to. Then the fourth page is where you sign and have it notarized. And then it needs to get recorded at the Registry of Deeds. Some of the local real estate attorneys can actually do e-filing, so you don't even have to go into Worcester. You can e-file it, and it could be done. Essentially recording it could be done in a day if you get it notarized and completed. So it's a pretty quick process.
Okay.
It'll take longer to put a tank in.
Right.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I didn't want the board to be responsible for holding up any of these folks. And so when I got the list, that's why I kind of started rattling cages. Sorry, but
No, that's okay.
especially when they start calling me and showing up at my house,
Well,
Oh, Jesus.
I did say that to you. They shouldn't do that, so I apologize for that.
Well,
So
No, I saw her. I actually saw her at voting too.
these,
And I said, we'll do whatever we can, Judy.
Jim, you gotta understand, these are my neighbors. They're directly across the street.
no, in a small town, everybody knows everybody, and
Yeah.
the added benefit of election day, you're likely to run into them at the polls. So
Yeah, exactly.
so if it's
Jim, not to add to your workload, but if you have a chance tomorrow, could you text me the contractor's name and number for this particular project?
yes, I can.
I'd like to have a conversation with him about what he's making statements about.
Sure. So, just so I can understand, so I have some good marching orders here. I guess recommendation is I could sign off for the board once the deed restrictions in place, and we could put as a condition of occupancy the installation of the new septic tank.
Yes.
If that's okay with the board. That way there, once the
Yeah.
paperwork's done, the project can start. And before they get occupancy on the new construction, they need to make sure that tank is in and signed off.
That would
If
be,
that's,
that would be correct. That follows our protocols. Yep.
Yeah,
okay.
Paul, don't you usually get a copy and sign it, a copy of all these, and you get to sign off on one
Copy
them?
of all these what?
The permit, like we talked about today, the different things. Billy usually drafts up a copy for you to sign.
Right, but I don't sign deed restriction copies or anything like that.
Well,
but-
that's the whole board. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
The town. Yeah, yeah. Right.
Now,
So in the deed,
Go ahead,
ahead.
Jim.
Judy and Hans, I believe, are listening in.
yep.
Judy, Hans, do you have any questions?
Nope.
Okay.
And I can certainly get the deed restriction document to you if you'd like, Judy, or I can get it to your contractor. I spoke with him earlier this afternoon, whichever is more acceptable.
You know what? You've been in touch with Tim, so why don't you have that done with him and we'll get a hold of him and we'll probably bring it down to the registry of deeds there.
Okay, if you look at that document and there's any questions, certainly give me a call. It's a standard DEP template. That's why we like to use it.
Yeah,
And it's if there's no land, I mean, if you just have a straight deed for the property, no land court or anything like that, it's a matter of just getting the deed and picking up the book and page and the address and owner's information, then filling out the number of bedrooms, which in your case would be 3. And again, the last page has a place for you to sign and have your signature notarized.
I guess quick question, is CSI, do they put in new tanks?
So I'm
They-
not sure who is I'm not
Yeah.
sure if they're a licensed contract. I know they're pump, they may. But you're on the right track. You need to find a licensed septic system contractor.
I believe they are, but
Yeah, I thought I
don't
saw
always
them.
say so.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought I saw them doing work at some house towards town, so.
Okay.
Evan's house.
Oh,
Yeah, you can certainly give them a call and ask if they do that. And
Yeah.
if they do, they understand it's an application, and so
They could probably give you some good names if they don't, Judy.
okay.
Okay.
okay. And then
Jim, we really appreciate all your help on this.
Yeah,
Oh.
thank you.
no problem. And I had one other. So this permit here, when it comes in, I'll get it ready. I'm not sure when the permit will come in for the new tank. But I can, again, Paul, I can get it to the office in Berlin if that's where you'd like to sign it, or I
Yep,
can sign
that
it,
would, that
whichever.
would be fine. Just give me a text or whatever when you know it's gonna be there, and I'll get down there and sign it right away.
Okay. And then I have one other one, not related to this building permit, but for somebody who needed to put a D-box in for 55 Peach Hill Road. It was just an upgrade that needed to be done. And Bill mentioned that the board needs to approve to have them signed. So
Yeah.
I just wanted.
Yeah,
That's,
we saw
that's
that.
just some paperwork that'll come through you at this point.
Okay, so I can sign off on that one so they can get
Yes.
that.
Yes,
I will do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
very good.
55 page, yeah.
Okay, Jim, you need to stop your share.
Okay.
Thank you, Jim.
Not a problem.
Yeah, appreciate the help.
No problem. Did I stop it?
Nothing like doing
Not
3
yet.
jobs, right?
Guys,
Yeah, well, it's a little challenging, but that's okay.
It's not easy to share your screen and start it and stop it and
I'm not a big fan of the Zoom meetings, so yes.
Neither am I.
But you're sitting at home now, ain't you, aren't you, James?
No, I'm in the office because I needed to
Oh.
be able to kind of get all
Still
the hit all
still
the
be there.
permits. So yeah.
There you
Okay.
go. All
well,
right.
I
So, do you have
I'm
any other fires we need to fight?
No, sir. Jim just came in and with his big fire hose wiped them all out for us. So
Either
I'm
that
sorry.
or a magic wand, one or the other.
magic wand, I like that better.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry that people hunted you down, but see if we can do a little better.
Just
Um,
holidays and voting messes everything up.
Yeah,
Right.
I'd like to make a motion then to adjourn this meeting.
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor, I'll say aye.
Aye.
Bobby?
Aye.
All
Aye.
right, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you, Jim, very much.
Good
Thank
to
you,
see you
Donna.
all.
Yeah.
No problem.